Evening, y'all. Railroad Preserver 2000 here, back again doing another live stream here. This is first of a just general live streams that I'm doing. This is not the first time I've done a live stream where I'm working on my photography, but this is the first one where I'm going to be trying to work on it in at least a more interesting way. I mean, I don't know if y'all would be interested in this sort of thing. I doubt it, but I see there's one person here. Don't be shy. Feel free to say hey and let me know who you are. Also, I'm currently in Discord right now. I'm in the general voice chat at the moment. Man makes Lego movies. What's up? How are you? Yeah, I've made a new fan server. So the old one was retired in case anybody's interested, in case you're wondering. Hold on, let me see here. Sorry, y'all. Normally I need to, yeah, I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm, all right. Okay, so currently the Discord link I just made is, hey Godzilla Boy, what's up? The link I just made for the Discord server is only good for 5 uses and will only be active for about 30 minutes. So if you two would like to join the server, now's your chance. I just sent the link, so Godzilla Boy, if you want to join, you can. Ben, if you want to join, you can. But yeah, I'm not keeping the live stream up on my computer this time. Anyway, hey Kevin, how you doing?
Doing good.
That's good. I love this. Both our profiles are front shots of steam locomotives. Yours is 610, mine's 209.
Yeah, 610 and black and white.
Not so much to link. Oh, by the way, this is this here is in along on the way to Hartwell. This old bridge. That's the original road alignment, but look at the bridge. It literally looks untouched. Looks like something from the 30s too, judging by the Art Deco.
What?
Hey, Via.
Hey.
Here, I'll share screens while I work on the photography. Matthew Chen, what's up? Godzilla Boy, what's up? Why is everyone looking at my stream, at my YouTube live stream, not have Discord? Y'all, come on. If y'all want to join this stuff, you gotta have it. But yeah, here's the bridge. Yeah, Via?
Can you make the moderator role and administrator?
Do I have you like that?
No.
Well, dang, I thought I did. Oh, no, yeah, I've got you as a mod. Why? Do you not have access to...
On the setting.
You mean like co-owner?
Go to
You're cutting out what?
Go to setting.
Via, your thing is like cutting out bad. Here, hold on. I need to... Sorry for blacking the stream out, y'all, but I don't want to be... Yeah, I don't want to be showing my personal info for the Discord thing because I don't want to get raided. That would be terrible. Server settings. This. So let me see. Create role. So do you want me to make it be like co-owner or administrator?
Administrator.
There we go. Admin.
Go all the way down. Permission. Go all the way down. Oh.
Yeah, I was a dude.
You don't have to check all that. There's one that you just press and it's about it. Administrator. There.
Should I do that with the mods?
Well, no. But then you would set up the bot.
Yeah, because I need somebody to help set up the Me6 bot. Who is EMNEM? Is that you Godzilla Boy or Jankstar Matthew Chen? Is that any of y'all? I just need to know if I need some I just need confirmation.
Oh wait, what's that other thing?
Wait a minute, I thought I made the admin thing. Oh, why does it have admin at the bottom? Weird.
Oh yeah, slot.
I know.
It is.
There you go, you both are now members.
Is me?
What?
Hello?
Hey,
What is going on with my mic?
it's probably deafened, dude. I don't know.
Because when I turn off my suppression, just goes haywire.
Oh, real quick. How do I make it so you can, well, we need to make a server list, so I need to put that in the welcome thing, and I need to make it so you can no longer chat in there. Oh,
Yeah, could you please fix your mic, please?
I can't help it, Kevin.
there's like some sort of static going on.
Yeah, I know. I'll just mute my mic.
Anyways, that madness aside. I'm with hitting the wrong button. Let me see here. There we go. All right, let me hide this. Let me go do that. Let me do some more magic and friggery. There we go. All right, so this bridge is here. I don't know when it was last used, but it looks like one from what would you say, Kevin? I'm sharing screens at the moment. Does this look 30s to you?
Yeah, probably the 30s.
And you know, here's something funny. That's older concrete, and look, apart from the moss growth, it looks perfectly fine. Like that sucker could probably still hold a car. I want to go back there and actually photograph that more up close. BC Rail Productions, what's up? I know this side would be more accessible than this side because this side's on private property, but I think there's some business over here, so I could probably go over and explain what I want to do. This is one of two pictures I actually have of this bridge. It's actually one I think one of two that are still part of the old roads alignment. This here is what? Hello?
Oh?
Who's that? Is that you, Ben?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Oh.
So here's the first image done. Yeah, that concrete's like mint.
I'm gonna shut up on the mic.
What bridge is it?
This is along one of the roads going to Hartwell, Georgia, but the bridge is more or less inaccessible. I think you'd have to go out there in the winter in order to get to it, but even then, you'd still have to ask permission as to who owns it. But here's a more far off shot of the bridge.
Because you don't want nobody calling the cops on you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, okay, well, apart from trespassing, that'd be the only thing I'm doing wrong. But I'm more curious, okay? I would want to go over there to photograph it and film it up close. I'm not somebody who'd vandalize it. I mean, I'm not like that, okay? I'm seriously not like that. I will say though, there's one thing in Hartwell that I would like to have addressed in terms of security, and that's that abandoned railroad equipment that's out there. Well, I don't say abandoned, I'll just say derelict. The passenger car and caboose that are out there are pretty much in unsalvageable condition. I think the most you'd be able to do is salvage. The most you'd be able to do is scrap them out for parts. Like the caboose's frame could be saved along with all the metal parts from it, but you'd basically have to destroy what's left because the roof is completely caved in. The walls are starting to fall apart.
That's sad.
Well, to be fair, it did look like the thing was rebuilt with plywood, so yeah. I mean, you get what do you expect? But then again, the equipment hasn't been used in over 40 odd years, so yeah, yeah.
Right next to my house, there's a train yard. Like at 4 a.m., I get woken up by a train just moving a rack of cars around.
Hey, man. Oh, speaking of cars, check this out.
Oh my god.
Hey, don't laugh. That's a classic car, and it could still be restored. Granted, you'd have to clean the rust off of it, but if the engine isn't seized, that thing would not take much to restore. Question is how much the person would. The question would be how much the person would want for it. That's the thing. I'm not saying I'd buy it. I wouldn't. I don't have any expertise in restoring that thing, but someone else would.
Dang it, Barry.
Dang it, Bobby! I told you to get more gas before you left, and now look at you. Look at your car. Dang it, Bobby! God dang it, Bobby.
Oh yeah, there's a propane tank right there.
Oh my god, that's massive.
Damn it, Bobby! I told you to get more damn propane.
Propane.
Propane!
It turns into rust.
Oh God!
Car is so rusty. It didn't have enough propane.
Godzilla Bud's like, wait, PC Real Production. By the way, I saw Reese was in the chat. Reese, if you'd like to join the Discord server, you're welcome to it. Love to have you.
Amber, what is your profile picture? Look like a cat thinking of something.
By the way, by the way, in case y'all are curious, as I said before, Reese, he's a friend of mine who's in the Navy, believe it or not. So, salute to you, sir. I know who BC Rail Productions is. Speaking of which, BC Rail Productions, if you're still in the YouTube chat, feel free to join the Discord. We'd love to have you. Oh, also, there's this thing from somewhere. Yeah, Chattanooga, number 44. It looks like some kind of, I think, don't quote me on this because I've seen the similar piece of machinery or these parts.
Better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better, but this, I think, is some sort of farm equipment because I saw these belt things, two similar belt pieces in Carlton. They were from an old ironworks in Savannah that still exists as a museum and event thing. Either Savannah or Augusta, wherever it is. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is just something I think that would be interesting to have modeled in Rails Unlimited just as a little roadside item like what you see here. I don't know, see...
Wasn't that from the mill or something?
Like having it sit there.
No, this isn't from the mill. This is something else because this is from Chattanooga.
Oh.
Chattanooga, Tennessee! Enterprise, you're welcome to, but I'm mostly doing photographs and that stuff. And apparently puking my guts out. Anyways.
Burn.
It's like, oh no. Anyways. Okay, let's not do that. Anyways,
Well,
It's sad people let these things go to rust because they.
actually, can I say something? This here wouldn't be hard to get back running. You just need to get, because it's all manual. All you'd have to do is get a ton of oil on it, and it would free it up, and you could use it again.
Placing parts that are.
In fact, hang on, look, that's a fresh piece of metal, so this thing might still be used. Who knows? I tried turning the gears before they're seized. Hello? Is this Enterprise?
Who's this?
Is this Enterprise?
Oh,
What's this? Router, what are you editing?
Photos I took on an outing with my mom's dad and a friend of his. Oh God, my mom's dad is an absolute freaking character. I'll just say that, nothing more. Oh, I don't have to tell you guys what this is. Log splitter.
I don't see it.
Oh.
It's just
that's cool.
that block splitter. Yeah. Sucks we don't have any down here in the south.
Oh, hey George, how you doing? How you doing, George? How you doing? Wait, sweet potato. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Who brought sweet potato in? Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm stupid. Sorry, sweet potato. My brain's not working. Sorry, man. I forgot. There was some other guy with the same name, and he caused a bunch of trouble. Ugh. I'm an absolute idiot. My apologies, Via. I'm so sorry. Oh boy, my brain is not working. Sorry, sweet potato. You're fine, man. Actually, just gonna casually make you a mod. There we go. Gonna make your bro a mod as well as. So why not? By the way, I'm gonna make Kevin. I'm gonna give you the admin role because we don't have enough admins. Same with Hurricane.
If you don't mind me asking, can I have perms to see the meme chat? Because for some reason that's blocked from me.
Can you not hit continue on it? What am I? Well, I mean, I've got it. Well, I mean, I have it and cursed images chat set to age restricted for a reason because some of that stuff is a little extreme.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
Well, you should have an option to be able to see it. I would think.
Yeah, it's not giving me that option.
Can you screenshot it so I can see it real quick?
I can screen share.
Well, I can't.
Helps. Yeah, I can't take screenshots on this device, sadly.
Do you not have snippet or something?
No.
Damn.
Yeah, it's sad.
Damn.
Good news is
Oh, wait a minute, Kevin. Kevin just yeeted Saturn out of existence.
I wrong with his ass.
Kevin, why did you make me call? Kevin, why did you have a straight up? Wait, I didn't see what you were showing, George. Hello? By the way, Kevin, I think your sound is leaking through a bit. Oh, hey, Enterprise. How you doing?
What?
Enterprise.
It is the Enterprise.
Surprising.
You know, and here's the state this caboose is in now. Bear in mind, I last photographed this in, I think, 2020 or 2021. And look.
I think it's gotten worse.
No, dude, I'll just be blunt. It's unsalvageable. It's literally a total loss. I mean,
What it looks like now.
well, no, I'll just be blunt with you. The most you'll be able to save of it is all the metal parts, like the frames up here and here, the wood stove inside of it, the frame, the steps, the railings, the grab irons, all of that can be saved, but everything else, I'm sorry, you can't save it. It's a total loss. I mean, it might help. For all I know, it would probably start disintegrating if they tried to move it. Who knows? Same with the passenger car. I mean, hell, look at the steps, for God's sakes. Look at the steps.
Oh. Do you have a picture of the passenger car?
Well, the passenger car is an old Delaware Lackawanna multiple unit car. Is an old commuter car. It's an old Delaware Lackawanna commuter car from New Jersey that was built in the 30s and was in service from then until 1984, when it was retired from commuter service in the 80s. Numerous other cars from the fleet were bought up by various scenic railroads across the country. Some of them are still in that use today, but, well, this one's
a bit out of the ordinary here.
Well, no, that one, I'll just be blunt. From what my friend told me, the one who works for the railroad, they got the two cars that are still salvageable stored inside. They've got another parked nearby that they can use and get parts from, and I think that's going to be the fate that this one has. It'll probably be scrapped out as a parts source. I don't know what they could salvage off of it, but who knows?
The steps, maybe?
I don't know. There are some pieces that can be salvaged from inside the car, like the luggage racks and maybe the light fixtures, at least where the bulb's actually screwed in. Those could be salvaged. Seats, I mean, you could salvage the frames, but you'd have to throw out the cushions because the cushions are absolutely shot. Floor is completely shot. I'll just say this. I climbed in it and walked around, and it's... there's a hole right there, right when you walk in the door. And there are some spots where the floor may give way if you stepped on it too hard. But if you move around softly and have common sense, you're okay. But I don't recommend it. If anything, I actually tried shutting the door on my way out, but it was wedged in the open position. Like, you can't shut it, even if you tried. And I would like to try and go, and I'd like to try and go back and shut it because somebody else could go in and get hurt, which is not good, you know.
How bad is the axle condition on that thing?
Axle or actual? Like the caboose?
Axle.
I mean,
on the passenger consist car.
Well, let me just show you. There's the whole car right there. And I just noticed two dang windows are busted out. Either that or they're in the open position.
Huh.
I meant to look and see if those were busted out, but no, it looks like they're either open or just busted out. But you can see
Stair on the other side of the car. Oh my.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 stairs are unusable. The stairs on this end are busted. The one on that side's busted. But this was from the old scenic railroad operation that was around in the 80s. But, I mean, I'm sorry, but this car is...
That's in terrible condition.
Well, no, I mean, there's been equipment that's been in worse shape that's been restored, but I don't know if it would even be worth restoring this, to be honest. Like, what I mean by scrapping it out for parts is literally going in and literally just salvaging whatever can still be used or restored, like the wheel trucks, the equipment underneath, that sort of stuff, like the grab irons, maybe some of the doors, that sort of thing.
I mean,
The car body itself... Well, let me just talk for a minute, okay? Because I don't know... Like, for one thing, I mean, the caboose... I'm sorry. I mean, the caboose is unsalvageable. Like, you would be better off demoing the existing frame. Like, you'd be better going in and removing all of the iron and metal pieces off of it. The grab irons, the stairs, the metal frame, the metal ladders and whatnot on each end, and any metal parts inside it, and then literally demolishing it down and just leave the frame. In other words, you'd be better off rebuilding a replica caboose structure on top of the existing frame. That'd be the only way you could do it. You'd still have some original pieces of the car, but the wood itself is unsalvageable. And I mean, you can look and see that I think it's just old school plywood, really, on the outside. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know when they restored the caboose last. Probably in the 80s when the tourist operation was going on. There's also a turntable at the end of this siding, but I don't know. It didn't look like it would be enough to move Reading Railroad 11, because that was the steam engine they had at the time. And that engine, I think, is down in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
At least
Now, here's the thing. Now, there's an old industrial spur curving off to the left. There's the turntable to the right, and here's the main line going center. Now, the track is still semi-active. I mean, remember, they got RF&P 136 down here along with a bunch of maintenance-away cars, but they've moved them out recently. And plus, it is still active. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've been on the photographing the railroad trestle and the rails are shiny like a train had just come through. So it's not abandoned, technically. Like, the tracks are literally disconnected right at the crossing just before the depot. The other rails past the crossing are still in place but buried, like sunk down. But they're not ripped up. Like, they could be built easily. And plus, the group redeveloping the depot property left all the track in place. They left the grain mill spur in place. They left the track in place right to where it dead ends at the next block. So it could all be, the existing track could easily be ripped up and rebuilt. It's just a matter of trying to get in there and do it, because if this was going to be revived for tourist service, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of volunteer and manpower, and a lot of money. You know, it's going to take a lot of that to get something like this redone. Would it be expensive? Yes. Would it take a while? Yes. Is it impossible? No. It's not impossible.
Impossible would be like Saluda Grade, which is in far worse condition with.
Well, here's the thing with Saluda Grade.
Yeah, I heard they're going to turn it into a trail.
Well, there's that, but I don't think it would be viable as a tourist railroad, because I think the diesels they had for that thing were custom built. Now, granted, you could probably get a 3 or 4 car passenger train up the hill, but that would be about it. Like, you'd have that, you wouldn't be able to run a 12, 15 car train up the hill. You'd have to have it cut down to maybe 5 or 6, to maybe a 4, maybe 6 car train. Basically, it'd be like what you see at Cass, where they send the locomotive and 3 or 4 cars up the mountain and then back down. It wouldn't be impossible, but you'd have to have the engine on the, you'd have to run the engines like they do at Cass. You wouldn't be able to pull the train up the mountain. You'd be better off backing it down first and then pushing it back up. Like, you'd have to get the train down to the bottom of the grade where it levels out. You could have a runaround track, like a switch for the diesels. And then when you have the diesels on the back end of the train, they could push the train up the grade. That would remove the danger of, say, a runaway and all that. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just passenger cars though, and not like big heavy freight cars. So why would they need like a runway track? I mean, I know that they would need a runway track just in case. But
Yeah,
if it's
safety
passenger
run.
cars though, it's just. Well, no. The thing with Saluda Grade is that some parts of the main line are not even usable anymore.
Well, no, can I say that? Can I say something? I know that they've been washed out, but look at Cass. The whole Durban line was washed out, and they literally just got the last bridge spans needed to reopen it, and it'll be open, I think, within the next year. Maybe even sooner, who knows?
What color was the coach in?
Blue, by the looks of it. Blue with gold lettering. But, you know, it's interesting, really. You know, it's kind of funny. I've been meaning to look for the builder's plate for this car because, again, it's an old Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western commuter car from New Jersey. This was one of the ones built in the 30s. and one that wasn't retired until 1984. And it wasn't technically fully retired from any kind of passenger use until
Whoa.
until this tourist operation folded. But this isn't the only. These old MU cars aren't the only passenger equipment they have. They had 4 of these cars, 2 of which are in storage, and another is parked at their shop. At the shop the other 2 are stored at, that is actually in much better shape. At least externally, it looks like it would be salvageable. They've got a box car sitting out there that could be turned into a generator car. They've got the Central of Georgia caboose, which again would only be usable for parts and could then be rebuilt. Like after they demolished what's left of the original caboose, they could rebuild it from the ground up. They've got 4 fairly newer cars from the 50s and then another steel caboose from around the same time. So they've still got equipment they could rehab and reuse, and they've already got locomotives. They've got 50s diesels. So, I mean, they've got the elements there. It's just the cost of rehabilitating them and the track and stabilizing them enough to where they can be made usable again, because all of that stuff would need to be refurbished inside and out. Damaged stuff would have to be fixed or replaced. All new wiring and lighting would have to be put in. If you were going to do commentary, new sound systems would have to be put in. A generator car would have to be made or acquired for passenger lighting and all that. So, there's other things that would have to be done. Like if the passenger equipment could be rehabbed first to where it could be at least stored and kept out of the weather, then that would work, but again, that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money, and really a lot of manpower. Now, I'm not saying the railroad's going to have a tourist operation anytime soon. Again, I've only heard like rumors, so I don't know if anything concrete is in the works or was in the works, and I don't know if any of that will go forward because I know the owner of the Hartwell passed away recently, if I remember correctly. So that's going to be, again, I haven't heard anything more, so I don't want to assume anything just yet. But I hope the idea they had regarding all this will still be able to be done, because I think it would be very good for Hartwell, Watkinsville, Bishop, Madison, and all those little towns, because if they could get the line from Bishop to Madison reopened, not only would they have another interchange point for car storage and just general customer freight, they also would have a chance to do something like what they've got up in Cordele, Kevin. They could run a similar operation to what they've got in Cordele.
Yeah.
Between not just Bishop and Madison, but Bishop and Watkinsville, and even Watkinsville to Athens. Now, that would be a really good idea if they could make that work. Because I could see that. I could see the train to Athens working very well. And really, not only could it double as a tourist operation, it could also double as a kind of commuter operation too. Like they could use the existing tourist train equipment for general like commuter stuff too, if they wanted to. If if there was like college students living in Watkinsville trying to get to Athens, they could get on the train, ride the train into Athens, and literally be right there at the campus. The railroad goes right through UGA's campus. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible by any means. The key is just getting the track and all equipment stabilized enough and refurbished enough to where it could be made usable for just a general passenger operation. I'm not saying it would be something like MARTA, but I could see a dual tourist and revenue passenger operation being viable, at least in a commuter standpoint, because think about it like this. It would bypass the 10 loop. It would bypass the main highway going in and out of Athens and Watkinsville. It bypassed the Greensville Highway or the Greensboro Highway going from not Greensboro. Listen to me talk. It bypassed the roads that are always clogged with traffic between Athens and Madison, especially the 10 loop. That thing's a nightmare depending on what time you're on it. And plus, it'd be an alternative transport option for people wanting to get to and from Athens to Watkinsville or wherever else they're from. You know, Athens, Bishop, Appalachia, Farmington, Madison, Paris. Yeah, I didn't know there was a Paris, Georgia until I got permission to look at the depot in Madison on the inside. There's a signal lever. The old signal levers for it are still in place. And I didn't know this, but apparently apparently there's a Paris, Georgia, but I've never heard of it.
What the heck?
What?
What did I do with the sun?
Did you? All right, Ed. Okay, I'll just go out on a limb and do an Ed, Ed, and Eddie reference. Ed, did you eat the sun?
I just placed the sun.
Now, by the way, here's what I mean by the car being a sort of total loss. Look at the interior.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Yeah, and take note, that's sunlight coming through the roof there, and I think that's insulation too.
My God.
Well, now, here's the thing. See, you've got the luggage racks. Those could be salvaged. You have the old light fixtures, at least the metal parts anyway. Those could be salvaged. Electrical equipment, that would have to be ripped out and redone anyway. The seats, I mean, you could salvage the frames and all that, but the cushioning and fabric would have to be completely replaced.
Does it have a hole in the middle of the car?
I think that's a light, actually, but I don't show it, but there is a hole in the floor right where you go into the doorway. That would have to be completely redone. Oh, and yeah, concrete for the floor, not good.
What happened?
Why?
I don't know, okay? I don't know if that was the original floor or not. But, yeah. So basically, like, the luggage racks, light fixtures, doors, maybe the windows, maybe the seats, at least in terms of the metal parts, all of that could be ripped out and salvaged. But as for the rest of the car, I mean, unless you could find a way to stabilize it, like, the only way you could really restore this thing is literally going in and completely gutting everything. Like, going in, ripping everything out. I mean, again, the only way you'd be able to restore this is by ripping all of the existing seats out, ripping all of the existing stuff out, and just literally gutting it down to the bare metal. Pretty much what you see with SS United States, except it's a train car. Because you'd first have to go in and do metal remediation, where you've got to prevent the rust from spreading. You'd have to clean all the rust off. You'd have to sandblast it. You'd have to prime it, and you've got to repaint it. And you'd have to rust coat it. The more you can keep the rust at bay, the better chance you'd have it keep bringing this thing back. Because, see, there's been equipment that's been in worse shape than this that's been able to be restored. So it's not impossible to bring this thing back. It would just cost a whole lot more to restore it than it would be to restore the other pieces that are in better shape. Like, basically what I'm saying here is this could be restored, but it would depend on the amount of money it would take to restore it. You know, it depends on if it would be cost prohibitive to restore it. Like, if it's cheaper to just salvage what you can from it and just scrap the rest, then so be it. There's still 2 other cars left that are in decent enough condition to restore. Technically, actually, 3 of these, because, again, I think 2 of them are in storage at the railroad shop, and I think another is parked just outside, and it's in a little better shape than this. I don't know what the interior of that other one looks like, but it seemed to be in better shape since it was at the railroad's main shop facility, which is good. Plus, they've got new crossing equipment in place. Like, they had an up-to-date signal box in Royston. I noticed that.
was this railroad's reporting mark on it for the passenger car?
The name of the railroad is literally the Hartwell. Same name, just an entirely different operation. Again, the railroad has the locomotives already. It's got other passenger cars. It's just, I mean, I don't know if this one could be saved. I mean, you'd have a lot of metalwork that would need to be done. You'd have a lot of, because again, you would basically have to completely strip it just to even begin restoring it. I mean, you'd basically have to gut it of all the original fittings and right down to the bare metal and just rebuild it from there. You'd have to put a new floor in. You'd got to put new seats in, new wiring, new lighting, etc., etc.
I'm looking at that hardware roster and it says there's a GP40 in the roster.
Yes, and they've also got 3 different high hoods from 3 different railroads, but all from roughly the same year, 1950s. They've got a Bessemer and Lake Erie high hood. They've got a Chicago Northwestern one. They've got a Chessie System one. And the most recent one was a former Southern unit they acquired. I think they actually have 2 Southern units and a few short hood NS units they acquired fairly recently, in fact.
Was one of them ex-Southern? Was one of them Southern 2594?
I don't remember. Why did you say that?
It says one of them is leased from SRM. It's GP30 number 2594, which still retains its original Southern Railway number.
Are you talking about the Hartwell Railroad?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I don't recall them having a Southern Railway. They've got 2 former Southern high hoods that are in NS paint, but
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. So it's leased to the Tennessee Valley Railroad.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't. I was gonna say I like the Hartwell, but they don't have equipment they don't have museum level equipment. They've got equipment old enough to be put into a museum. In fact, most of the original diesels they have which were like center cab 44 tonners, are all in the museum in Duluth now. And I think one Jeep of theirs ended up going there, a Georgia Railroad one. And then I think a Western Maryland unit they had went to the museum up in Cumberland due to its heritage, which is good. That's very good.
BOE 454 was originally an SD70, SD7, which it still is.
Here, just hold, dude. I've already read the information. This railroad's literally only a few minutes away from my location, dude. I mean, I'm sorry. Again, I've seen it. Never caught it running, but I've seen it. Oh, and I just realized this thing had marker lights on the ends right there and maybe right there, but you can also see where it had a small ladder there too.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, this reminds me of a cab car with marker lights on it, but without like a...
No. That's actually... No. I think that's actually what this was an old cab car, but I don't know. A lot of the old cab cars had high roofs. I think these were known as high roof trailers or low roof trailers. I don't know.
Oh, the steps look in a very bad condition.
Yeah, that's just nah. It's like, come and see our factory full of safety violations. Oh, hang on, look. I think this may have been one of the cab cars because look underneath. that is a sign of an old generator. These cars having an old generator to generate power for the lighting. I didn't notice that until just now, so I'm going to have to go back and give this thing a straight up in-depth overview. You know, it's funny. I might be the only person doing a genuine kind of amateur survey of the car. Well, I will say this. I'm seeing roof damage up here all along the top on this side. So that would have to be fixed or at least patched to prevent more water damage from occurring.
This cat car was built like in the 30s, so I wouldn't be surprised if it had damage already.
Well, no, here's the thing. The only reason it's in such bad shape is simply because it's not been used. I mean, when the Hot Wheel Railroad's tourist operations ended in, I think, either 1988, 1989, they just parked the equipment around the railroad's right-of-way everywhere and just left it. Like, they just kept it, but just stored it indefinitely. Which is kind of a good thing. That means they at least have some sort of plan for it. They just nothing concrete has been able to really present itself. If they didn't, I'll just say this, if they didn't want to ever revive the whole operation one day, they wouldn't have held on to it. It's that simple. They would have sold it off.
Weird. The Great Smoke. So you know how you said earlier about like the amount of cars on the tourist railroad can take when I was talking about Saluda Grade earlier?
I've been to the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad, if that's what you're wondering.
Yeah. I was gonna ask that question if you had been to the railroad before.
Dude, that's the first railroad I ever rode on, period.
Huh.
Okay, I just love this shot. And by the way,
Oh my god.
and by the way, this pole thing here is where Reading Railroad 11 was parked when it was on the railroad. There was once a grain mill behind the depot here, which has now been torn down. It's been gone for nearly 25, 30 years. The center track around here was where RF&P 136 was parked, and either track on either side was for car storage. But there's the depot. They restored the depot and the old passenger platform. Or I should say they rebuilt the old passenger platform. It was on a raised platform when I last saw it. So they demolished the existing platform and built a replica, which is good. I mean, and here's the thing. They've got yellow line markings on the concrete pad for the depot. Now, what does that tell you?
That probably used to be a platform, I think.
No. If they didn't intend for the railroad tracks in front of the depot to be active again, they would not have those markings. Cass Scenic has those markings to tell you where you can stay back.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there is some kind of plan in place, I think. It's just going to take a while for it to be implemented.
Oh. The tracks look alright somewhat.
Well, here's the thing. Before any of the stuff I mentioned can be done, I mean, the track will have to be stabilized. Yes, you can run a locomotive on it, but I'd imagine it'd be restricted speed. I don't know. See, my friend who works with the railroad, I mean, he and I talked about all this in better detail, but again, I'm not saying the railroad's abandoned. I'm not saying the equipment's abandoned, because even though the equipment's in bad shape, at least the two pieces parked in Hartwell, it's still under ownership. So that means they can come in and move it and do whatever they want to with it. You know, if they want to haul it over to their shop and park it there, they can. If they want to part it out and scrap it as a part source, they can do that, you know?
True.
One thing I don't like is I just noticed looking at some of the pictures, people are starting to go in and graffiti on it, which is not good. Which is kind of funny. I'd never seen graffiti on that car until now, so I'm hoping that's something I didn't unintentionally cause. But then again, the cars have been in that siding for years. I mean, they've been there for as long as I can remember. I mean, could they still move? Yeah. But I'd be amazed if they could. I mean, I'm sure if they did move, there'd be rust flakes like falling off everywhere.
Yeah, probably. actually.
I mean, that's the thing. If my friend Xenia could join the server, he would be able to give better information about all this. And I know Xenia, if you're watching the stream, which I think you probably are, you're welcome to comment in the live chat and explain all this better because, in truth, I don't want to give any misinformation here. I really don't. Now, I like this because you just have the facade.
What was that? What is that building?
I think it was an old freight warehouse because you've got the doors right here beside the tracks. Yeah. Now you say that, Kevin, you're probably right, and that would make sense.
Because there's a door. I was thinking about that because there's like a door and there's windows and this tracks like right parked out right next to it. And
I'm very tempted to go back with my flashlight and see if there's like some old bottles or something hidden in there. I'm very tempted to do that. Probably like a crawl space, actually. That would be neat to open those doors up and just see what that looks like on the inside. Because I'm sure, even if it's empty, that would be neat. Because usually, I've photographed a few old buildings that have plants growing in them that look real neat.
in Steamtown, which I visited, most of the rolling stock patch cars over there were built like the 30s to like 60s era. Some are built later.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of the old equipment they have is just being stored right outside. And really, when I was there, I only went once, and that was probably like 2015, 2014, something like that.
2017.
I don't remember, but the equipment wasn't in all that good a shape. It was kept up, but it wasn't kept up enough to where it looked presentable.
I went in 2015 to 2016, and it looked absolutely horrible in the back. Most of the rolling stock I saw had broken steps, doors, handrails, etc.
Well, here's the thing. They need to do what the Illinois Railroad Museum did and build like car barns around the storage yard they have. It's not presentable, no, but it would keep all of the equipment protected from the snow out there.
What about steam applause stored outside in like...
That's what I mean. Same thing.
Yeah, for like example, Unit Civic 4012.
Can I say something? Look, they're keeping all that stuff up in terms of cosmetic terms. Oh, and by the way, the tracks are still in place here if you see the rails. And all these concrete foundations here are where the feed mill used to be. In fact, the old auger is still in place too. Now, I didn't photograph this in detail like I did on my last visit because that was what that was meant for. But there's the literal end of track for the Hartwell right there.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know if it went further. It might have gone further back, but I don't know. It looks like it looked like it always dead-ended right here. I've seen in older photos that it just literally dead ends right here. But the fact remains, they kept the tracks in place, which is good. Now, some of these pictures I took are for Rails Unlimited, so a lot of them are going to go into reference pictures later. But here's this view looking back towards the depot. You can see the mainline track, and you can see where the depot track would be. It's, I think, disconnected from this little shed back.
Well, what, like they used to be...
No, the both tracks dead ended right around where I'm standing. So, milepost 0, boys. Milepost 0.
As a deactive train, deactive part of the railroad.
No, you don't get what I'm saying. It's not deactive. It's just literally where the tracks ended. Now, I don't know if they went further than Hartwell, but who knows? I'm sure my friend has better information on that. Maybe even track plans. Who knows?
There's like no need for a train to even get down there anyways.
No? 130? No? No? The railroad did get trains through. In fact, here's what I mean. Look at the platform. See the wood, and more importantly, you see the yellow line.
Yeah.
Now again, what does that tell you?
Yeah, it's not that overwhelmed. It's kept in condition.
And there is the main line, the depot track right there. Now, see, they would have to remove the existing track in order to stabilize it and all that, but it's not impossible. Okay, I want to make that abundantly clear. This track is not abandoned. Okay, it's not.
Oh, this is not bad. It's not good to hear. The track's in better condition.
Well, can I say something? The Hartwell is still trying to do that. They are actively upgrading their track as time and money become available. They can't do it all overnight like a class 1, all right?
Yeah, because literally you would need like millions of dollars just to like, repair the track and all that.
Can I say something? It may be a short line, but I'm not going to say how much they make because I simply don't know, but they've got enough to do the necessary repairs needed. It's just, again, they can't do all of them at the same time. They have to do them as, again, time, funding, and manpower are available. All right? That's the thing. And again, if my friend was able to join this, he would probably be able to give much better information than I could.
Oh, depending like we're trying to fix all this type of stuff like
Well-
like class 1 standards.
They're trying to get it to class 2 standards. At least from what I was told, the trackage between Watkinsville and Madison, if they were going to reopen it, I mean, they would already have to go in and, I mean, I can already tell you, in terms of them reopening that, they would already have to go in and completely rip up the existing track. I mean, in order to get it up to class 2 standard, they'd have to rip up all the existing track. They'd have to rebuild the road bed in a good number of places along the Bishop to Madison. And they're already going to have to do that anyway because I think they found a washout that no one knew about that'll have to be worked on. Old sidings that are no longer being used will have to be cut, like the one in Bishop. They took out the switch stand I photographed recently. Not because they were scrapping it, they just didn't need it right there anymore. Plus, they could use the switch stand elsewhere, which is good. And there's another one there. There's another set of switch stands there in town that could also be removed and reused. In fact, what they could probably do when they go in and rehab the tracks, what they could probably do is actually go and torch out all the old switches for the sidings right there in town. And there's 3 of them. 2 for the depot siding and 1 for an industrial spur that's no longer used. They could cut those out and they could just have a single track running right through town. Maybe with one siding with a 1-end switch that could be used, say, for maybe car or equipment storage if needed. I don't know, though. Again, I'm just going off of what, I remember in terms of what my friend told me and all that. But again, he'd be able to give better information than I could. So, yeah, but the depot here looks nice. I actually like the color scheme. And what's funny is they kept the old Hart County Scenic emblem there, which is kind of funny. Even though there's no train departing yet. But here's the tracks on the other side of the depot. Now, all of these are still in place, but they're disconnected right at the crossing. Like the rails are literally just unbolted. So, yeah, this track had the steam engine, and you had a passing siding right here. In fact, as you can see, they have an updated switch right there. And as you can see, that switch there is still active. But they took out the stand right next to it, you see?
Yeah.
So that tells you which tracks they're no longer using. If they remove the switches, they're no longer using them.
What about this track that the camera's pointed on facing forwards?
That I don't know about, but this was where they parked the steam engine back in the 80s. The only video showing this operation when it was running showed the steam engine under this canopy here.
I'm guessing the steam engine is gone by now.
Oh, the steam engine still exists. It was already in preservation at the time the footage was shot. It's now down in Kentucky on display, I think, if I remember, because I think TTI was the last ones to use it, and when CSX took it over, well, that was the end of that. Ironic, seeing as they're now allowing 2716 to run whenever that happens. As if I'm gonna laugh if by the time, I'm gonna feel bad for the guys working so hard to restore that engine. If the next guy who takes over CSX pretty much says no to steam excursions, that's gonna suck so bad. But I don't know. I don't know about that though, and here's why. CSX has been very supportive of them, the guys restoring 2716. Could be that it's a CNO engine, therefore part of CSX heritage, or something else. I don't know.
Well, if you remember, if you can count correctly,
I'm currently back here in Hartwell, Georgia.
This road had any new rolling stock, just like any old rolling stock.
Hang on, wait, hold on. What? Hold on. What were you saying?
The road got like older rolling stock. Wouldn't they just put it like outside in storage with like other?
Hang on. What are you? Hold on. You talking about the Hartwell?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Currently, that's what the case. That's pretty much the case. The remaining passenger equipment they have, about 5 passenger cars and 2 cabooses, are pretty much still stored out in the elements. Now, what I mean by 2 cabooses, this Central of Georgia one and the other steel one they've got are outside. 2 of these MU cars and 4 later passenger cars are also stored outside somewhere on the main line. I don't know where, and I'm not going to say where because I don't want them getting vandalized, because that'll make them harder to restore later.
Yes. Some people who are on streams in Discord, and there's people out there that like graffiti like other rolling stock.
I know.
Like,
look,
they know.
Can I say something? I know that. All right, I know. Yeah, well, now here you're about to see me do something that I'm sure Xenia is not probably going to be too happy about, but I'm just going to be blunt. I've been wanting to walk through this car anyway, and plus, I don't know if I'm the first person who's actually done a proper look at it since it's been parked here.
But today I'm making an exception.
I even point out I don't normally do this, and plus, I was debating on doing this anyway, considering the condition.
I'm going to climb aboard this real quick just to see.
What's funny is this is actually the second time I filmed this. First time I filmed this, my mom's dad was out there with me and rushing me to get out of there because he was busy doing some other stuff. But I finally told him, look, just let me do this at my own pace, all right? And so he and his friend left to go and do something else while I stayed behind to do this.
Quick.
Yeah, and there's the hole I was talking about. So see, all of this would have to be cut out and replaced right here.
Oh my
3 points of
God,
contact.
big hole.
Well, that's just where the water has been leaking in. And notice, that's on the center I-beam. So the frame, the actual I-beam might be fine. It's just the other steel that have to be replaced.
So I'm using the railings.
And the door.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look.
Yeah, and there's what I mean by the caboose being a total loss. I mean, look, there's some freaking trees growing in it. You got freaking trees growing in it.
Is this a tree caboose now?
No, but here's the thing. See, there's the wood stove and the railing around it. That can be salvaged. What looks like a signal thing, that could be salvaged. Whatever this is could be salvaged. All the metal grab irons and whatnot could be salvaged. The metal on each end could be salvaged. I don't know about anything else. It's funny, there's a coal bin in here, so that's a coal stove, and they actually still used it. There was still coal in the box
There's the
when I
inside
looked.
of the caboose for you, and yeah, I'm staying on the metal plate. I ain't going any further, but yeah, I'm already looking. The whole thing's a complete total loss. I mean, look at this. You got trees growing through it, and the roof's completely caved in. So it's It's more or less unsalvageable. Of course, I'd be very surprised if it could be salvaged. I think at most you'd be able to save all the metal parts and whatnot you could save, but everything that's wood, no, that's a lost cause.
What I mean by that is basically any metal parts or pieces on here could be saved, but in terms of the whole wooden structure of the caboose, I mean, that's all probably rotted to really nothing, to be honest. I mean, I bet it would, hence why I said it would probably disintegrate if it was moved.
So I'm here trying to document all this before it's removed.
And plus, the other reason I didn't go on the caboose is because, well, for one thing, I mean, I only went on the caboose right there on the running board just to look through the doorway, but I didn't go in because, for one thing, the floor is probably rotted all to hell due to it not having a roof over it. And another thing was because there was wasps all in it. So, no, thank you.
Now, here, yeah, there's holes, so I'm going to have to be removed.
You know, I've got to wonder just how long had that thing been sitting there for that hole to form?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Look, that goes clear through.
That was insane.
Well, somebody put a Coca-Cola down there. Free Coca-Cola! Coca-Cola!
Holes, so I'm going to have to be very careful doing this. I don't know.
Okay, hold up. I just spotted another hole in the roof, so that explains why it rusted out.
Another hole.
Well, now, hold on. That could have been where there was a stove or something. I don't know. Well, now, I don't know if these cars had the wood stoves by the time the 80s rolled around, but who knows?
Yeah, there's holes, so I'm going to have to be very careful doing this.
Well, I don't know. That could have been where there was like some sort of fan or something. I don't know.
I don't normally.
And there, you'll notice I'm ducking down like crazy in a few minutes because there were wasps all in this thing. There was all sorts of nests. Ugh.
Do this. So here's what the interior of this old Delaware Lackawanna commuter car looks like now. Yeah, these cars were built for that railroad and its commuter service in 1930, and they were then retired in 1984. After they were retired,
There's the wasps.
chill, buddy, I'm getting through. Wasps. There was wasp nests in here. Anyway, after they were retired, these cars were bought by various tourist railroads across the country and used in commuter service or tourist service there. Most of them now are still in that capacity, but a lot of them aren't. Going to keep my head down because of the wasps, but you can see
There's nests all in that thing.
the car is mostly a total loss, I'm afraid, but there, I think, is some of the original wire.
Oh yeah, that's original. I mean, look at that. Those are the old school knob and tube style circuit breakers right there. Those are like switch lever type breakers. Look at that. You guys see that?
Yeah.
That is old school. If they do, if this thing can somehow be saved, if they rip that stuff out, I hope they hold on to it because that stuff's rare. Like, that's really freaking rare, actually.
For these things right there. Original switchboard.
Oh yeah, that's original. All right, here let me back it up. Oh my God, I didn't realize just how original that was.
Wiring for these
That's
things
probably
right there. Original switch.
Bear in mind, that's all probably been in the car since it was built. Okay, I'm just gonna clarify that. I mean, look at that.
Oh.
I just noticed. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that was the controls. Look, pantograph down, pantograph something, lights. Yeah, that's wow.
I can barely read it.
So that was one of the cab cars, I think, because I think it was only the cab cars that had the pantographs. That's amazing. Not many of these actually kept that when they were turned into passenger cars for tourist railroads. This might be one of the few where that's still in place. Well, just a word of note, Xenia, if you're able to, if this thing can be saved, I'd recommend saving this mechanism because there ain't many of them left.
Or that and putting them on display.
Well, that's what I mean. They could take it out and do that.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I think my gym at the high school had these same old hydraulics right there, the old hydraulic door
Still got
thingies.
some of the original.
Oh, there was the wasp nest. Look, there's the wasps right there. That's a that's a huge nest too. Oh boy! Yay!
But the actual peep top.
It's like no, not the bees. Yeah, now here anyway. Anyway, here's the light fixtures. Now those could be unbolted and salvaged. Now I don't know what the glass fixtures would have looked like. Those have been gone, but I don't know. Maybe they were removed by the railroad. Who knows?
Still here, so. And then you've got the metal luggage racks.
Oh my god, I just noticed that massive nest. Oh no!
The seats, I'm not so sure of,
But you can see here though, I mean, you can see the roof is in bad shape in some spots. Hell, I think where it's buckling is where the water damage is most prominent. Like there, probably all through here.
everything else. In terms of parts,
I don't know. And there's another hole right there. That's like the worst one.
could be scrapped out as a parts car, but everything else is.
More electric stuff right there. I just noticed that.
Parts. This could be scrapped out as a parts car, but
I should have pointed those out. I can't believe I didn't do that.
this is essentially a total loss. Now I'm getting the heck out of here. Between the wasps and the deterioration, I ain't staying in there. In fact, I'm going to end the recording. I'm going to try and shut this door because, yeah, I have a little more common sense to walking through here because I know what to look for, but some people don't. So if you excuse me, I'm going to make sure this is locked up as best as possible.
Joke was on me. That door, I think, is either bent or something else because it was wedged, like, shut. Like, it was wedged in this position. I couldn't get it to budge any further in order to close it.
Well, some cars today that are built in that old still have wedged doors stuck and all that stuff. So
Well, can I say something, please? The only reason it's like that is because I think the floor has bubbled up due to the rust. So it's made it to where it's no longer able to shut. That's just my guess.
Give me a minute. Okay, we're back over here on the caboose. Again,
Yeah, the back end right there is in way worse shape, way worse than I remember.
I don't
When I last photographed this had only just started getting like that.
think anything in terms of the actual structure could be saved apart from the frame and all of the different metal parts and pieces. Everything that's wood would have to be dismantled. But here's the old turntable for when they ran the steam excursions on this railroad back in the 80s. There's actually, believe it or not, one recording on YouTube.
And you know what's ironic? The recording of the railroad in the 80s was filmed in this caboose. Like, literally.
Oh.
It shows the caboose and these MU cars in service, and the other one I'm referring to were parked on a siding. I sent the video to V12 Productions because he wants to do something on this railroad. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting if he does something on it.
Of this operation when it was still running back in about 1988. I think that was a year or two before the original operation ended. I've heard rumors that may restart, but it's going to take a decent amount of work to get everything up to whatever codes and standards need to be met. And of course that takes time and money, but it's not impossible. That's not impossible by any stretch. And you can see right there where those holes are, that's where some old marker lights used to be. Somebody took the lenses out, but yeah. Yeah, but these have been parked here for about as long as I can remember.
Sorry, y'all. Hold on.
So, yeah, but as you can see by the fresh ballast, the trackage is still in semi-use.
Is anybody still in here?
Yes,
I did a video. I uploaded the.
I remember last time I visited up here myself,
Hold on. I think my
the
my
railroad had actually
mom,
parked
dad, and his
most of the
friends show up in a
maintenance
minute.
cars
Hold
here,
on. Let me see.
old box cars and wood
I think
chip
they're going to
cars and
hit
whatnot.
honk the horn at me in a minute.
Basically to point out that
And of course, like a damn idiot, I keep the camera tilted at 90 degrees. Oh my god! I do a lot better now, dang it!
the track was still
Ah, my brain. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna keep this. The cringe is horrible!
and it is. It's just rarely used. But as you can see, they've brought their equipment in and hauled that stuff out. And here's something I didn't notice. They've got a double switch right here, so that's interesting. So I'm going to try and photograph this for Rails Unlimited. Starting with the various frog points. Here. So yeah, here's the lower switch here.
yeah, there you go.
We are.
I'm probably gonna just delete this footage because, frankly, it was just me walking to the depot.
All right.
Oh, here, real quick. You can hear my mom's dad there in a minute. Here, listen, just listen.
All right. So here's the upper switch right here. Two different handles. Flags are gone, but yeah. There's a little shed up there. In the footage from 1988, the railroad's steam locomotive was actually parked under there. Or
Funny thing about this track right here, it looks like it was in the process of being relayed and they just never laid ballast down.
enough to where they can at least store
Yeah, see, it looked like they tried to relay it and it just stopped.
cars on this. Now again, I have a friend who works for this railroad company, and so he would probably know about all this better than I do. So I really, all I'm able to do is guess. Okay, that's basically all.
Yeah, so 132 was parked right here. The steam engine would have been parked here in the 80s. And I think all of this was either storage sidings or runaround tracks for all the different locomotives.
But here's the 3 yard tracks
There.
on either side. That's where they parked the steam engine. This was, I guess, a runaround
Oh, and note, I actually had my old army jacket on. Yeah, I still have that, by the way.
track for when they used the diesels. And the center was the main line. And last time I was up here, they were trying to restore all this. And this and
Now, note, the tracks were all disconnected right here. And another interesting thing, that one still had the rails in place. These had them buried for some odd reason.
okay, no, never mind. The tracks are still in place. Somewhat. Well, I'll say this, the depot has been fixed up nicely. Again, they fixed this up about the time I came up here.
Did I seriously keep the camera tilted for the duration?
It is interesting.
I still don't know what this was. I'm starting to wonder if it may have been something for the grain elevator that used to be right there. Maybe like a winch, because it looks like it has some kind of winch on it right here, or a motor.
Oh yeah, they have one. Good deal.
Whatever it is, some kind of old motor or winch. It's funny, if all this trackage here is reactivated, They're
Yeah, I was laughing because all this landscaping they did is going to have to be dug up once this stuff is ever reactivated. That's what I find funny about it.
gonna have to.
And then there's that weird thing. I don't even know what that was. Maybe an old barcode reader or something for the cars or a sensor. I don't know. Because the auger for the old mill is right in here somewhere.
They're going to have to dig a lot of this stuff out in order to reopen it, which is not impossible.
Now, I like that they
There's
kept...
the old mechanical auger that would take the grain out of the grain hoppers and put them in the silos that were here.
Yeah, see, there's the Archimedes screw for the auger. Now, funnily enough, what's left of a similar mechanism still exists at Tunnel Hill, believe it or not.
That's still here. They took out the one at Tunnel Hill.
There's the old switch. I love the old flags on
That's
that.
a nice mural up there.
It's funny. I love they put the wood around all the switches and stuff. I like that. It's like they're
kept
saying...
the switch stand right there, so that's good. If I remember, the track's just dead end right here. So all the tracks here have been cut. Alright, so there's this way again, and I'll see you all later.
Is that literally it? Can't be. Hold on. No, that's it. For this, anyway.
I uploaded the pictures in the chat. I got a nice picture of the knuckle coupling. Roller bearings. I don't know if they were. No.
Well, now here's some photos I took in my home, where I used to be staying. These were in the evening when my mother had brought me back. I always loved this location at my hometown because all you have to literally do, you'd think this wouldn't be in my hometown, but it actually is. You'd literally just have to turn, depending on which way you're coming, you have to just turn left or right on the road this goes off of, and you're literally right here in the country in just less than a minute, which is amazing. I literally love that. It's only a minute and the freaking farmland reappears. I love it. I love it so much. And I've always loved this location because of this house. You always have the sunset right behind it, and it's just so pretty. What was that? Now I'm debating on getting rid of this one because of the telephone poles, but I don't know yet. Is there someone trying to join?
What?
I keep hearing somebody joining, leaving, etc., etc. It's crazy.
It's probably just my mouse, because I have the wrong mouse connected to the computer.
Oh, by the way, here's another thing I like about this spot. It shows you how fast the pavement becomes dirt again. Oh, fun fact. Right around here was where my school bus nearly flipped over, so that was fun.
What?
Yeah, yeah. That video I made titled "This is an Issue," that all happened right in here. Basically, what had happened is the creek that was down in this bottom land had washed the road out, and they had it blocked off, but our bus driver didn't know that, so he had to stop and started trying to back up and ended up on the grass.
No, and he tried to back up and tried bringing it forward again, and it didn't do it, so it started sliding back down.
Pretty much. Just another day in Redneck High School. No, I'm just kidding.
Slide back.
That's the better photo. I love that one.
Let's speak about unused railroads. I live near next to CSX line that sees like 2 trains like per week.
It probably had more before PSR frigged everything up.
Yeah, PSRs. Yeah, they.
It sucks!
Oh,
This was just something I photographed up in Comer while my stepdad and I were scouting some land he was looking at out. He that came out wrong. Lord have mercy. This is basically some land that a friend of my stepdad owns that he was giving him permission to hunt on, so I went with him to help him scout it out. But I figured I'd do some photography.
with forwarding. Road that's washed.
What?
Nothing. I was talking about the road washed out. That the bus driver didn't know.
It's an old tree. There's an old tree. I'll just say this. Turns out this land has been proven to be rather successful for my stepdad in terms of his hobby. So that's good. Alright, so that is pretty much all of the photos done. So I'm going to put these into the Heartwell 2022 thing. So I'll be adding that all in my next recording, which should be worked on tomorrow. So I think that's going to conclude this madness. So I will see all of y'all later. This is Rare Preserver 2000 signing out.